us. Now, this particular session is going to be on the premise that you've already done your invoicing and main module month ends. So if you look at the document that I've just shared, the first 2 pages or the first page will be all about invoicing. And then whatever you might have done or had to do in the main module. And I've given you light and full, as I've said, so I'm not going to go through what you were supposed to do in invoicing and what you were supposed to do in main. I'm basically going to focus on the general ledger section. And as I said, I'm sorry, Cheryl, my babes, if I'm going to waste your time. But we're going to assume right now that the deposits are pulling through to the Winmain and that people still need to capture their bank statements and those kind of things. So I do apologize if this is not really applicable to you. Yeah, sorry about that, but you are welcome to ask as many questions as you want to. All right. Now, in the GL, we now know that you've done your commission reports, you've checked all your invoicing, you've checked that all the receipts were captured, you've placed them all on deposit slips, those kind of things. The next stuff that stays or remains on the checklist is that you need to please print these previous month-end remittances from the Windows invoicing module. Now, if you didn't know that this existed, believe it or not, when your principals are set to month-end in the setups, and you can see it, I'm just trying to see it now, it's very small. Okay, let's open that, okay. When you look at the billing tab, whoever is set to month-end will automatically create a remittance advice for you. All right, and to do that at month end, after invoicing is done and main module is done, you're going to go to File, Print Documents, and you're going to choose Remittance Advices. Then, very important, select the date, and the RA type will be month end. Now, your month end OKs is generally somebody like Avis or any of the bigger hotel chains that you maybe have an account with. And this is what the remittance advice will look like. So instead of it printing 3 remittance advices for the Protea Hotel Richards Bay Waterfront, it printed 1 and it referenced to the 3 individual invoices. Why? Because these amounts now, of course, is your main total that you will deduct commission from and then, of course, pay them. So your payments in your cash book that you're going to capture in the GL will then or should then be the same as what we say here. That, of course, is very much dependent on you capturing the invoices correctly. As you can see, some invoices here have no commission and others do have commission and VAT. So your work, although the remittance is printed, doesn't stop here. You still need to check them for accuracy and make sure that if the VAT and COM is applicable, that it is accurately captured. In the event of you having to make any changes, so let's say, for instance, I was supposed to get commission on the previous 2 transactions, the first 2, 8603 and 8606, what would you do? You would then go and pass a journal in the general ledger from this particular creditor, which is your 800 account, to commission and VAT, if applicable. Okay, so you basically get the idea and the gist of what I'm trying to get at with regards to your remittance advices. So in essence, what you're doing is you're still finalizing your creditors' recons. Why? Because they're now on the GL, they're not on the Winmain. All right. Let's see what else it says. It then tells us that steps 2, 3, and 4 is very important. Why? Because this is your cash book entries. Now, please, guys, if you joined me on the previous session and I showed you how to import those bank statements, of course, these will all be processed. Your biggest job would be to make sure, and I would put a side note here, which I didn't, if you've imported those bank statements, please to get rid of the debtors' deposits that were processed in Winmain because they will be duplicating. Okay. Otherwise, numbers 2, 3, and 4 will already be imported. Please let me just get rid of my daughter playing with the ball, please. I apologize for that. I don't know what, well, she needs a break. Okay, dokes. So does steps 2 to 4 make sense? That I said to you, if you are importing it, that you should not try and capture them again. They will be processed. However, those debtors deposits will also import if you didn't take them out at the point of you doing that Excel spreadsheet and manipulating the data. So just make small little side notes if you do have that, because I didn't account for that in here. All right, not everybody wants to do the import. It's all up to them. The fifth step then is to please ensure that all your journals are processed. Now let's quickly talk about journals. What kind of journals would that be? Over and above your creditors' journals, maybe any accruals that you want to do, maybe any depreciation journals, those kind of journals. Those are the typical journals that you will process in your GL. You'll agree with me, so we'll do that. And then very important to please ensure that your bank reconciliation balances to your bank statement balance. Now, just to quickly recap, if you don't know where to find your bank recon, once you've captured everything in your various cash books or imported them, you're going to go to options, you're going to go to bank reconciliation, and then of course you're going to select the month and only the month that you want to reconcile to. If you leave it blank like I've done here, it will literally apply the entire cash book based on the dates that you have there. All right, so please make sure that you just select what you want. So I'm going to say January to January. I hope I've got some data in there. Transaction types. Although the system will allow you to only look at certain transaction types, for me, and I'm sorry if this is going to sound harsh, I think it's completely stupid to say I'm only going to reconcile the bank items now, and then no, I'm only going to do the checks, and then I'm only going to do the deposits. Have all, guys, when you capture or when you reconcile this bank statement to the actual cash book, have all of them in there, let the system pull it all in, and you can go and do that. Now, very important, here you can say unreconciled items only or not, as well as include your unposted batches. Now, if you're like me and you're not going to post your batches until final year end is run and it's signed off by the auditors, please make sure that that is on by default. If you don't, you're going to phone me and say, Deirdre, my stuff is gone and I'm freaking out. And I'll be like, no, just check your little tick box. All right. And then the next thing for me that I feel is very vitally important is this little button here that says combine the same reference totals. Why? If you have a transaction, and I'll show you what it does. Maybe it's better just to show you, hey? Can you see I have a transaction here, reference 1881, and it talks about bank charges and bank charges again. Okay, these two entries have got exactly the same reference and they get to a particular total, which I can't add up now because my math has just gone shoddy. But you can see here it was actually affecting two GL accounts, one being VAT and the other being bank charges. When you reconcile from your bank statement, the bank statement is not going to show you the split. Do you agree with me? The bank statement is going to give you one amount. Now, have a look. Remember 1881? Let's go back, and I tell the system now that I want to combine these references. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Let me just get rid of that. I do apologize. I'm back. It feels like I'm in a zoo today. I don't know, everything's going wrong. It's like, what the hell? They're normally very organized, my family, but I think they're tired of the training sessions now. They're like, okay, Mum, you've had it for like 6-8 weeks now. It's enough. All right, let's get back. Remember that reference was 1881. So here we have it. It is only showing 130, which was the bank charges. But you will notice that it has a cumulative total here of 1,700 Rand. Okay. And this flag here that says #2V tells you how many transactions actually shares the same reference. Now it's much easier for me to go and check if 170769 is actually on my bank statement instead of having the two separate entries and then me playing with a calculator and adding them up and all of those kind of things. So please use that combined references. It will definitely be of benefit to you. Now, at this point in time, my system will show me whatever transactions are reconciled as well as my unreconciled transactions. And straight from here, I can go and reconcile by double-clicking and telling the system that I want to set it to a specific month, or the other option is to enter as well. If I want to do multiple reconciliation or unreconciliation, using my shift and my down arrow will allow me to do what we refer to as a multi-select, and you can see it's dark blue. If I want to recon or unrecon, again, multi-select and just enter, and the system will do whatever I want. So it'll either reconcile or unreconcile depending on whether it was reconciled previously. Okay. Now, something to keep in mind, my idea, if I do my bank statements, I never do the whole month unless I've imported. If I've imported, then I'm far more riskier and I'm willing to take some chances. But if I've captured manually, what I do is I work per statement page. So when I get my statement, I will look at the closing balance on that particular page and I'll enter it in here. The minute I enter it in here, my system's going to show me what a difference I have at this point in time. Now I can also then at that stage also look on the left hand and right hand side to make sure whether it's going to try and match. Sometimes you might find that theoretical balance agrees to that and then you can just reconcile everything, but 99% of the times when you're capturing manually, you won't have that kind of luck. So what do? You enter your closing balance in here and then you're going to simply reconcile as your line items appear on your bank statement until such time you get to the very bottom of the screen and that difference then agrees to what you have on your bank statement. Hopefully you won't have any differences. All right. Once you've done that, and I do it page by page by page, once you've finished the page and you balance, you don't have a difference. I go one step further and I go and say unreconciled items only. In full Winmain, if you did attend that training, in full Winmain we have a save recon and a restore recon option. This option that I just did now, where I said show me only the unreconciled transactions, what was nice of that is although it wouldn't allow me to physically save it, I at least now am on the new page and I'm only left with my unreconciled items. So I can continue from here with on. Once I'm done and I agree to the closing balance and there's no difference here at the bottom, I again would go and tell the system, listen here, just reload it for me. And it'll keep on only showing me my reconcilable items, which is still outstanding, which I think is quite nifty. And it's an easy way of me getting rid of the stuff that's already reconciled so that I don't go, my luck, and I do it often, so that I don't go and quickly unreconcile the stuff that was reconciled and then take my whole cash book out and I have to start all over again. I hate doing that. Okay, so that is a tip and trick about how to do the recons and how I would do it. If you made a mistake, your best bet would then be to go back into show all items and click on show all items. All right. And the sad part of it is because it doesn't have a save functionality, you're literally going to go select everything, Control A, and you're going to go and unreconcile all of them and start afresh. Okay, so rather do what I suggest, put that bank statement balance per page at the top and reconcile it page by page. Once you've reconciled it, switch over into unreconciled items only because it'll get rid of the correct stuff for you and only leave you with your problem children. The nice thing about this, and I'm sorry you're hearing my keyboard, but let's say I went and I was highlighting all of these because I want to reconcile them at once. If at this stage, this is the bottom of my screen, and it still has that balance there, I can still go and unreconcile the stuff that was my problem children by simply highlighting them. Can you see we still only have this particular page transactions? All the others I've reconciled earlier on isn't showing here. So I can still come in here and I can still unreconcile it. So I'm still back to the balance of my previous page. So it's really cool. I like it. Maybe it works for you. All right. So my checklist is saying, please make sure your bank recon balances. You'll agree with me, once you do balance, and this difference here is 0, you've got reason to celebrate. You can then go down and you can print this actual bank reconciliation. And I normally print them and I attach it to my bank statements, leave it in the file if you are printing. If you're not, then obviously save it in the same folder as your bank statements, because your auditors will need it for the audit back. And we know what they are like, don't we? All right, so that's how you do your bank recon in a quick nutshell. The second or the 7th step here is saying, please make sure that you use the contra facility for all general ledger accounts. And if you attended my contra session, I would have taught you, I hope, almost everything you need to know about contraing. And I said to you there as well, this is not only for creditors. This can be for any account. So it's your creditors, your BSP account, as well as your clearing accounts. And those clearing accounts must be 0. Now, if you're asking what those clearing accounts is all about, if you look at your clearing accounts, let me just get rid of this. The clearing accounts, if you use the standard chart of accounts, is all your 900 accounts. If you have different clearing accounts, they'll have a different number, but you will see that we generally give you these 5. Sometimes it can go up to 6 accounts. And it's basically a clearing account for your creditors, your non-BSP creditors, any receipts, journals, as well as payment to clients. So what happens? Let's talk about Winmain, Lite, and let's talk about the payments to clients. If you make a payment to your client, you can do it in 2 ways. The first way is you doing a negative receipt and clearly indicating in the details that this is a payment or a refund to client. Right? That's your first option. Your second option in the main module is to do a journal entry where you're going to debit the client's account and you need to then credit something. What you will do is you will then credit your payments to client account. Right? So it's basically like saying, listen, I'm planning on paying my client. When you finally then pay the client's account and you want to hit that cash book of yours, okay, your physical bank account, you will then go into your GL, and underneath your transactions, you will then go and choose either a check or a bank item, or maybe if you imported, it'll show on your bank statement and you imported it into one of those. But your GL account number that you will use there cannot be a debtor account, and you can't do the debtor's controlled account. It will then be the opposite of what your journal entry was, which was 905, which is payment to clients. So 905 clears off, it's a debit and a credit, and you are literally left with bank and client's account. Okay, if that doesn't make sense, let me know and I can explain it again, or we can draw some little T-bars. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If it's not, let me know. Sometimes I don't make any sense. Right. Then other accounts that I cannot emphasize enough that you need to worry about, and seriously guys, huge worry, every single month please, is the receipts clearing account. Now whether you're on full or light or anything like that, your 903 receipts clearing, or if you have another GL account called receipts clearing, guys, whatever it is, your receipts clearing account is big It's huge, okay? This is where you can leave yourself open to fraud big time. If this thing doesn't balance, you should have warning lights going off like something terrible, okay? It's like a tsunami warning. I would be freaking out immediately. It's the very first accounts I first check before I even attempt month end, even in main module, because this is how serious it gets, okay? If your receipts clearing account has a balance like this Oki has here of 850 Rand, you immediately need to go and investigate why. Right. Now some tips. It's like, Deirdre, thank you very much for telling me. I'm going to go freak out just now. Where should I be looking? First place you're going to look is in your main module. In your receipts register, you are going to go and look at all these receipts, and you're going to go check for anything that just says save. Okay, that does not have a deposit book. I don't know if you can see my mouse here on the right hand side. That does not have a deposit book or a deposit number linked to it. So that's your very first check you're going to check. The minute you get a receipt, like I have here for ABC trading of 104,000 Rand, without it being on a deposit book and a deposit number, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to say, who the hell raised this? And you're going to run to this consultant or whoever it is and say, why did you capture this transaction? Now you need to find a good reason. I'm not saying there's no good reasons. There must be a reason. It could be cash, guys. If it's cash, then obviously you'll need to have it as saved as closed, and you'll need to go and take it out of your receipts clearing into petty cash if you're going to use the money, maybe to pay out your creditors in cash. Maybe you decided you're not going to pay the cash deposit fees, and you take that cash and you throw it into all your creditors. You want to pay it. That is a legit reason for having a balance on 903. That does not mean that you're not supposed to go and get rid of the money out of 903. You still need to then pass your journals out of your receipt clearing into the individual creditors' accounts. Okay. So what happens now if you have done that, you've done the journals, and you still have a balance? Your job then is to do two things. The first thing I will do is quickly just rerun my control account. I know it sounds stupid because there's nothing really in 903, but trust me, if somebody did a journal to your receipts clearing account, the only way you're going to get it into GL is by running the control account. Okay, that we're talking about journals. If they went and they processed a receipt, and maybe all of them have got deposit numbers, but the GL isn't seeing it, your next option then after the control account would be to export either the deposits or the cash books. Now they work on exactly the same basis. They've got that little button that says export. So start before freaking out too much. Check the receipts. Check what the status are. Are they on deposits? Are they not? If they're not on a deposit, start freaking out, asking questions, a lot of questions, too many questions, okay? Step one. If everything is on a deposit slip, and those kind of things, export your control account. In case you don't know where it is, it's under Queries Control Account. Export the control account. So run it, click on Go, let it populate itself, and then click on Export. Step one. Once it's done, as I said to you, either export your deposits, which will be under File, View Deposit Book, and you'll have an export button here, or you'll have to export them all individually. Okay? If you're on full Winmain, you're going to go and just say export all cash books, and this is what it looks like. Once it's done that, you can see that it is writing to various batches. There's a BK1 and a DE3. It is writing all those entries in your GL. If it says okay and it's done, you're going to go back into your GL, and I want you to run this 900 receipts again. Whether you print it or browse it, you know me by now. I love browsing because I don't like killing trees. If it says reuse the ledger source data, you're going to say no, guys, because what it's going to do, if you say yes, it's just going to take the old data. Now, you and I know we've done a control account and we've done the exporting of our deposits as well. So we want this to update. Always say no. I realize it takes time, but trust me, it's going to save you heartache. Then go back down and check and see if that balance is gone. If the balance isn't gone and those receipts all have deposit slips linked to them, you then know that you've captured something in your cash book entries in the GL itself, you know, under your bank statement items or wherever you've captured them. You then know that that 903 account is somewhere in here. And the easiest possibly for you to do is just by double clicking on the account to sort it. And mine's not sorting it right now. Oh, because this is what's his batch? Sorry, let me try that, okay? That was a horrible noise in my ear. Okay, so now you can just go through every single one and check. And there is my 850 bloody rand. Can you see that? So there's my 850,000 rand that was giving me that balance on the 903. Remember there? And what did I do? This was an intercompany transfer, which I put to 903. Now, please, guys, if you have more than one bank account and you're transferring funds in between a bank account, I'm not saying don't use receipts clearing, but what I would do is I would go and create another clearing account called intercompany transfers in my chart of accounts. Where do I find that? Click on that little computer. Go down, look at what accounts you have available. If you don't have an intercompany account, simply go and create it. Right. Don't put things to the receipts clearing because you will have heart failure like I just had now. Rather go, and if it's an intercompany transfer between one bank account and another, just put it to that particular clearing account. All right, in the end, you'll agree with me, if I, out of this commercial batch account or bank account, did a clearing in here, which shows as a debit, I will then have to go into my other bank account. Whoopsie, now I've just closed my whole thing. Can you believe that? I'm such a nuisance. Sorry. Please be patient, your call will be answered. Sorry about that. If I then have a second bank account, which is this Oki, you agree with me that 850,000 rand will come in as a deposit. Again to that clearing account. Right. What should happen with this clearing account? It should go back to 0. So if I open this ledger account, remember right-clicking, guys. I'm assuming you know what I've been doing now. If you didn't, right-click is your friend in the GL. I have passwords on here, so I'm not allowed to look at stuff. This obviously, can you see there? We have our debit entry, we have our credit entry. Now, ideally, this should happen in the same month, but I wasn't concentrating. But they should be 0. Okay. If I now go back to my 900 accounts and I tell the system I want to look at it all over again, I just want to see if there's anything else. I'm happy. That balance is 0. That balance is 0. Pat on the back. Everything's good. Everything is good to go. My clearing accounts has got a good tick for me for month end. So yay for 7. 7 is done. Commissions and my clearing accounts are fine. VAT returns, you've all attended the VAT returns, so I'm not going to go into VAT returns. Follow up on outstanding creditors commissions. It all depends, again, on our previous sessions we had, whether you have referral creditors activated, debtors, not creditors, sorry. If you have your referral debtors activated, if you have your referral debtors activated, then you can quite simply, in the GL, come and print a debtors age analysis because they'll lie there. All right, if you don't, then of course that contouring becomes crucial because you'll run a creditor's ledger and hide your contra entries. Okay, we've done this in our previous sessions. I'm not going to go into how to do the contouring. If you don't know, please the videos should be uploaded by Friday latest. I'm going to push for tomorrow. I only have one session tomorrow, so I'm going to try and push for tomorrow for you to get them all up. But go and refer to those previous sessions. They were done for a reason. They're there to try and make it easier for you. All right. So have we reconciled the clearing accounts? Are they zero? Yes. Tick. The outstanding creditors' commissions. We've done the again, referral debtors, I'll be printing my statements from there. I've shown you how to do that. VAT returns, if applicable. Now, steps 10 talks about your trial balance, your income statement, your balance sheets, age analysis, and clearing accounts again. Why is it doing this? Because you and I have done a heck of a lot of work in this GL and all of the information that pulled in from invoicing and main, but now we need to go and make sure that it actually balances. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into this trial balance and we're going to browse it. Now what do you need to do? Move to the very bottom, guys. Before you even look at all of this stuff, move to the very bottom of your screen and always make sure that there's no imbalance. Now, can you see I've got something beautiful in red that says imbalance? And it is screaming because it's saying there's 849,000 Rand missing. Okay. How do we go about fixing things like this? To fix things like this, you can continue now with your income statement and balance sheet as well if you want to. But I mean, if my TB is out of balance, all the others are going to be out. So at TB, if there's an imbalance, how do we fix it? Very easy. You're going to go to options and you're going to go into batch manager. Very first thing you're going to do is you're going to see that you will have your own amount of batches. It might be more, it might be less, doesn't matter, it's not wrong. You're going to select the batches and the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to say update. By clicking on update, what it's going to do is it's going to calculate the totals for every single batch and it's going to show you your problem children. Okay, now some of these transactions are bank statements, some of them might be journals, some of them might be something. If you're new to this and you don't know which ones are which, your best bet is probably to say select all batches and then first tell the system to auto balance. What it's going to do is it's going to go check all the bank accounts and it's going to write the corresponding bank entry. Remember I did that one entry for 850,000 Rand? So my system is saying, listen, you never did the bank entry. Highlight everything by clicking on select all batches and just tell the system, listen here, calm down, do an auto balance. Run the auto balance and immediately you can see it looks much better. Your second step then would be to select all your batches again and tell the system to fix the errors and then to check it. Now it's going to run through every batch and guys, this is where it unfortunately can take a little while, sometimes a few seconds, sometimes a few minutes depending on the number of transactions. If your data is huge, I would probably say go make yourself a cup of tea right now and come back and have a look at the screen because it can take a little while. All right. Immediately, what this does, and it's so cool and so nice towards you, it'll go through them and fix or bring up the errors for you. And you can see here, my journal here is talking about a journal 1751 and it doesn't know what it's all about. So all you're going to do is you can highlight and say open. And immediately there, you can find your first mistake. All right. The second thing then, that it's also in this exact same batch, and you can see it says journal batch, it tells you that it's out by 42 Rand. So back in here, you can see your batch total is 42 Rand 50. Now the quick thing is, if I didn't know it was the very last line, how am I going to find out which journal doesn't balance? Hopefully you all can remember. You're going to go into your batch tools and you're going to say view reference totals. When you do that, you will see it takes you to the one that has a problem. So you can scroll up and down if you want to, doesn't matter. But go to the one that has the problem and simply tell the system to open it for you. And now you can go and do whatever you need to do to fix it. In my case, this was just a half entry and I'm not going to do anything with it right now. Okay, so we've done that. Batch reference totals. Let's form, oh, okay. Can you see the screen is still open? It's basically saying, listen, how can you close the mother and leave the child? Just close the little child as well. All right. If you had more than one entry, the system would have given you more results. I'm just going to quickly tell this OK to be checked. And everything is fixed. Can you see everything is 0 and 0 errors? Now let's go and see what the TB is going to look like. Because remember, that checklist says check the TB. So we are checking the TB. Let's browse again. Go straight to the bottom. And this is exactly what we're looking for. Our debits and our credits to be exactly the same. We now know this TB is balancing 100%. Accuracy is cool, all the accounts are verified, and it really looks decent. So at a quick glance, you can go and see what your profit and loss is, what's happening, all those things. Remember from previous trainings, right-clicking will allow you to open accounts. It'll allow you to do weird and wonderful stuff. So right-clicking your friend. All right, let's get back into that checklist. All right, so it says, please review the accounts, the trial balance, your income statement, balance sheet, creditors' age analysis, as well as your clearing accounts. And you will simply just go through your inquiries and run the applicable accounts. Have a look, see if you're happy. Does it look reasonable? If not, obviously you're going to have to go make some amendments, changes, maybe notes to yourself for your future recons that you want to do if you're not going to do them right now. You get the idea. All right. And then once you've checked it and reviewed it, made sure it all balances and it looks decent, like we've just done now in our previous few minutes I've shared with you, you're then going to go ahead and you're going to print your final reports. And these reports are basically like a little mini management set. Okay. And that is it. If in the event you need to run a year end, please rest assured you can run a provisional year end without having final audits done. And to do that, at any stage in your GL, you can go into options, year end, very important, choose provisional year end. The first screen doesn't look like it's doing much, but you can say validate. As soon as everything is green and good to go, it's basically going to check all your settings and make sure that everything balances and it's happy and is the retained income done and all of that. You're going to jump into options and you will tell the system that you want it to please create your accounts, the transaction types you had, and any batches that might be done. Simply go, say year end. It looks like this. It says, I'm going to create a provisional year end for you. Okay, and it says there, you may run this as often as necessary. Simply say, okay. System's going to re-index, create all your accounts, and it'll create a new year. And from here, you can then go into the new year's GL, the 2021. Okay. That is basically my story for now. That is what I would do. I do this on a monthly basis. Obviously, your provisional year end, you're only going to run it if you've made changes in it. And we all make changes before we send it off to the auditors. And of course, then the auditors come back and they also make their changes. So you can run this provisional year end as many times as you want to. Okay. Obviously, if you didn't make any changes, then there's no need to do it. It's really just to update those balances. Any questions, anybody? You've been awfully quiet. I've been wondering if I'm talking to myself here. All good. Thanks, Cheryl. All right. Is there anything you would like to add? Anything maybe you've encountered that you feel we've left out that we should add? I think we've kind of covered everything. Again, just please, these are the general notes. If you are using importing, change these notes and say, listen, I'm importing, but I need to remember to take out those debtors deposits because they're captured in the Winmain. So make small little notes, adjust these to help you. I like it because technically you shouldn't miss anything and you shouldn't have any problems. But yeah, I hope this has been helpful. I hope you can use it. At the very least, as I said to you, it has your first page which covers invoicing as well as in the main module. So it's just a nice nice checklist, okay? It's not a Bible, so it can change and you can change it as well. Thank you, everybody. If there's no questions, then yeah, that's it for today. It's a big pleasure, everybody. Have yourselves a lovely afternoon, and then we'll see each other. Tomorrow is the last 2 sessions. Hey, tomorrow I'm doing budgets. I don't know who's interested in budgets. Maybe I'll see you, maybe I won't. And then, of course, everybody who's got BSP, guys, join BSP, please. It's very good for you. Sylvia is like the queen of BSP. If anybody can, Sylvia can. But yeah, take care, be safe. Until the next time. Bye-bye.